رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Ask Allah Azza wa Jal to bless this gathering and to gather us in paradise as He has gathered us here tonight. Allahumma ameen. Inshallah, we are continuing Imam Qurtubi's book of At-Tadhkirah fi Ahwal al-Maut, the reminder regarding the affairs of death. Last week we talked about Sakarat al-Maut, right? The pangs of death, right? What is it that we experience in the time that our soul is being pulled out of our body? And we describe death itself, right? And the definition of death and what does death mean. Today, what we'll talk about is the actual burial or the grave, the graveyard or the grave itself. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was once reported in a Sahih Hadith that he was over a grave or sitting over a grave crying until the earth became wet. And he said, "Ya ikhwani limithli hadha fa'iddu," that, oh my companions, oh my brothers, for something like this, prepare yourselves. Right? This is what we prepare ourselves every living moment of our life, that the grave is our destination. No matter who you are, no matter what you are, no matter where you came from, the color of your skin, your status in society, everyone ends 6 feet under, right? Everyone ends 6 feet under. So what is the qabr, right? What is the grave, right? It's commonly translated as the grave, but really the qabr is defined, it's a state, right? From the moment that we're putting into our grave to Yawm al-Qiyamah. That is qabr, right? That is the time that we are in there for Allah knows how long. So it's reported in the Sahih Nisa'i by Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, إذا وضعت الجنازة فاحتملها الرجال على أعناقهم, right? When the casket is put on the shoulders, and when if it is a righteous soul, فإن كانت صالحة قالت قدموني قدموني, right? If it is a righteous soul, it is saying, like, hurry up, rush me, because it can't wait to get to its destination, right? We said that first, when the soul is pulled out, it is taken up, right? And it is shown its place in heaven if it is a righteous soul, right? So now it knows, right? And its grave is made as a garden of paradise. So it wants to get there quickly, right? And that's why in Islam, when someone dies, right, we don't ship the body to overseas, back home, to be buried in the place that the body had said to be, right? It is the soul wants to be in the grave as fast as possible. And that's why we in Islam, we rush the burial. We rush the janazah. So the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, additionally, he mentioned that there's 3 things that follow you to the grave, right? 2 of which return, 1 of which stays. The first is your relatives, the second is your property, and the third is your deeds, your actions, right? 2 of which leave. Which ones are those? Your relatives and your property, right? Whatever gold, whatever car you had, right? It comes with you to the grave. But then all of them leave, except what is only left is your righteous actions that you have done in this life. And once you are put into the grave and everyone walks away, 2 angels come, right? We all know the story. Munkar and Nakir, which by English definition means the denied and the denier, right? The denied and the denier. Other people have said the meanings of them is something that is unknown, right? That's something that that you haven't seen before, right? Munkar and Nakir. And they ask you 3 questions, right? This is after everyone has left. We all know the 3 questions, right? What is, who is your Lord, right? Who is your Lord? What is your religion? And who was your prophet? Who is the man that was sent to you? Now you ask, of course, any kid here, they're able to answer these 3 questions. But it would only be on the day of that you're put into the grave that you will not be able to answer the questions unless you have lived La ilaha illallah, unless you have lived the oneness of God, unless you have prayed the 5 prayers, and you were diligent on praying those 5 prayers. It is only then that you are able to answer these questions. So it's not about knowing the answer, it's about living the answer. Okay? Now, if the believer answers right, if they answer these questions by having lived these questions in this life, right? And they answer correctly, a portal, a window is opened, and they are shown hellfire, right? It's like, what does that mean? How? That's kind of contradictory, right? If they're believers and they answered right, they are shown their place in hellfire. And it is said to them in a Sahih Bukhari by Anas ibn Malik that the angels will say to them, انظر إلى مقعدك من النار أبدلك الله به مقعدا من الجنة. That look at your place in hellfire. This was your place. This was your place in hellfire. But Allah had traded it for you a place in paradise. And they are showed their place in paradise. Now, what is the wisdom? Right? What is the wisdom behind this? Right? Look at your place in hellfire. Allah has instead given you a place in Jannah. Now, there's many wisdoms that we can take from this statement alone, right? That what the angels say to the soul, the righteous soul. The first is everyone has a place in hellfire. Each one of us has a place, special place in hellfire, right? Innal insana lafi khusr. All humanity is at loss. إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. Except the ones who do righteous deeds, believe and do righteous deeds. وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. And join in good, in truth, and enjoy in good, in patience. Right? So everyone has a special place for them in hellfire. And as well, everyone has a special place for them in paradise. So, and this vice versa is true, that the disbeliever, if they answer the question wrong, a portal, a window will be open, and they will be shown their place where? In paradise. And you can just kind of imagine this saying, this is what you would have had, right? You can see the real, like, subhanAllah, the khasara, the true loss, right? The wisdom, it's not just about, for the righteous soul, it's not just about seeing where you would have been in hellfire. What's the wisdom in this? Is that now it brings you more happiness. Man, I'm happy that I'm saved from that place, right? I'm happy that I'm happy that I'm not there, right? So now it gives you more happiness that not only you see your place in Jannah, right? They could have just been shown their place in Jannah, but no. They show their place in hellfire first so that they can be more happy now when they see their place in paradise, and vice versa, right? The disbelieving soul, it is even more of a torment because they're like, man, look at what I missed out on. Look at what I missed out on. So if it's a righteous soul, it will be told to that soul, هذا مقعدك. This is your place. على اليقين كنت. The uncertainty you were on. وعليه مت. And death you were certain about. وعليه تبعث. And you will certainly be resurrected. Right? This is for the believing soul. You were on yaqeen, right? Through all the trials and tribulation and hate that were said against you, you were on firm yaqeen. You were on certainty of this religion. And you died upon this certainty. And you will certainly be resurrected on this certainty. Right? That's what will be told to the believing soul. And what will it be told to the disbelieving soul? Right? Again from the hadith. فَيُقَالُ لَهُ هَذَا مَقْعَدُكَ. This is your place. عَلَى الشَّكِّ كنت. On doubt you were on. وَعَلَيْهِ مِتْ. And on doubt you died upon. وَعَلَيْهِ تُبْعَث. And you will be resurrected in doubt. And it's at this point that once the believer is told, right, that this is your place in paradise, that then now their grave is expanded. It will be expanded for them and it won't be tight. ثُمَّ يُقَالُ لَهُ نِمْ. Sleep. Right? At this point, once they've seen their place in paradise, the righteous soul, it will be said to them, sleep. Why? Right? Why sleep? Right? Because this life is hard. Right? We go through the trials and tribulations. Right? We chose this. فَحَمَلَهَا الْإِنسَانِ. We chose this trial. We chose this test. Right? And it's hard. It's not easy. We have to wake up for Fajr. We have to come for Isha. We have to stay late. We have to stay stead firm. We have to show patience. It's not easy. And that's why we say sleep, rest now, right? The saying, I'll rest in my grave, right? The same concept, I'll rest in my grave. Right? ثم يقال له نم فيقول ارجع إلى أهلي. He'll say, let me tell my family, right? Let me go back to my family. Let me tell them what happened, right? فأخبرهم فيقولان نم كنومة العروس الذي لا يوقظه إلا أحب إليه إلا أحب أهله إليه. That sleep as if it is your wedding night. Right? Sleep as if it's your wedding night. As if, when you wake up, it's your wedding night, right? You wake up the next morning and you're like, was this all a dream? And you turn over, you see your wife or you see your husband, and you realize it's all true, it's all real, right? So nim, or sleep as if it is your wedding night. حتى يبعثه الله من مضاجعه ذلك, until Allah resurrects them from that from their state. This was Sahih Tirmidhi, Rawah Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu. All right, so this is very important that we include in our du'as, right? We include in the time that we are alive, and I'll end with this, that we include in our du'as, Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min al-kufr, right? This is the dua of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Oh Allah, I seek refuge in you from disbelief, wal-faqr, and poverty, wa adhab al-qabr, and the punishment of the grave. Right? Because that is the last test of this dunya, is those three questions. Those three questions. The last test of this dunya that you will be trialed and tested in is those three questions. And you will not be able to answer these three questions until you live La ilaha illallah. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal to allow us to live La ilaha illallah in our actions and our beliefs. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal to show us our place in paradise, and for that to be our eternal place. And we ask Allah Azza wa Jal to keep us away from the hellfire and to save us from our special place in hellfire. اللهم ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين، لنكونن من الهالكين، لنكونن من الظالمين. أو ربنا أدخلنا الفردوس الأعلى برحمتك.